Hi everybody, welcome to G for G here on YouTube. I'm your host, as always, Napalm Dawn. Today's background music is brought to you by this relaxing ambient electronic music by Best Music Compilation. A link will be in the description as I lower it slightly. So, let's jump into the Wonder Woman update and talk about Alliance missions. Let's cover two topics in this video. So the Wonder Woman hero event ends in 5 days. In those 5 days and 18 hours, the Poison Lady with the crazy face is showing up. And then after that, it looks like we come back to, we'll call this movie Wonder Woman. And so if you're struggling here in the Doomed Gate, it looks like you get another shot. Now, I'm almost surprised that the game is kind of really pushing her down our throats. From what I know, the movie is good, so at least they're not banking on like a shit movie or something over here. But it seems the game has made it very, very easy to get these Wonder Woman fragments. And you know what? Rightfully so. I'm not going to complain because I don't care who it is that we're getting. We are getting somebody in a very easy fashion. I mean, not only is she the monthly fragment person, we're getting 2 events for her. So I feel like what's going to happen to her is what happened to Poison Ivy, and that is she's going to be very, very easy to get. So we'll take a look at her abilities and see if she's worth it, but at least the game, for all of its cash grabbiness that we experience here in DC Legends, at least we're kind of getting a give me here, you know, a slow softball pitch to hit out of the park over here. So here's my current progress. I just did one before I filmed the video, which is kind of a shame. I would have liked to have had it on video. It's this one over here. I did the Doomgate 9. I don't know if I see myself pushing too much further. I mean, this is a ridiculous amount of nodes over here. I would say it's probably 25. That's my guesstimation. So if my next one is 10, 1, 2, 3, let's see, so that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, 25 could be about it. Between 20 and 25. I'll show you who I'm using. We'll take a look at her abilities. We will take a look at Ugly Face Chickie, who I like. I think she's actually pretty good. First, I'm just going to go ahead and bang away at some of these over here. Alright, so the team that I am currently using for this is this team over here, my 3rd slot. So it's Zatanna leading. So because Zatanna is leading and she's legendary, all allies have a 32% chance to gain 50% turn meter if debuffing. Well, this team is very good at debuffing. Zatanna does it when she downs somebody. Crazy Face Chick does it. Katana doesn't really, but Cheetah does. So I kind of stack the team with these guys. It's a lot of mystics, I know, but if you see who is available over here, they are some of my better heroes other than Mira, who's kind of up there. And that Harley Quinn, she doesn't necessarily debuff people quite as well as these guys do. I'm still way ahead of the power curve over here, which is good. And if I dump more into her, which I probably will because of her getting an event coming up soon, I think I could probably push further. I'm hopefully aiming at least 10, 11, 12. At least the 12th node for sure. I don't know how the power curve will work because now we're getting into 5-star people coming up. So, you know, the one kind of bad thing about hero challenges is how much it eats up your energy. And to draw a comparison to the now dead Marvel Avengers Alliance, you could stockpile so much energy in that if you took a play session and dedicated it to, let's say, a Spec Ops. Let's compare a hero challenge to a Spec Ops. If you played on your lunch hour and you're like, well, my normal play time is between 12 and 1 on my lunch hour, and you dedicated that lunch hour to the Spec Ops, you could, say upon returning home, very easily get to full energy because it's so easy to stockpile energy. I mean, I had how many thousands of free energies built up by the time the game died. I mean, it was like, you know, ludicrous amounts over there. This game, that you really just have to wait it out, unfortunately. And the hero challenges chew up so much energy that it often makes it hard to do dailies. Now, if you're in an alliance, that is even worse. And we'll get to that. I'm just going to say that I find alliance missions very divisive, but let's talk about heroes first. So, here's my current legendary squad. It's up to 5. Broccoli is legendary. Zatanna is my most recent legendary from farming her fragment missions. My Siren has been legendary for some time, and I love her. She's amazing. Clearly one of my favorite characters in the game for just simply being a straightforward character. Now, my favorite mental chess character of the game is Poison Ivy. I don't use her in PvP, but when I get to use her in PvE, I absolutely love her skill set. Her ability, I want to do so many videos on her buff transferal and everything, because I think she's so underrated for the crazy amounts of shit that Poison Ivy can feed your team. And I think she is the single greatest mental character in the game. I think she invokes so much interesting thought that she is amazing. And I would even dare say puts her on the level of Pestilence in Marvel Avengers Alliance. Like, when Pesty dropped, and you saw those skills and his passive and everything, you're like, ooh, I could team him with this and that, and Satana, and Red Hulk, and Bleeds, and Quicksilver. Like, you just, like, your brain went nuts thinking about Pesty combos. To me, my brain goes nuts thinking about Poison Ivy combos and, like, doing Poison Ivy videos. But one of my other early legendaries was Cyborg, another character I'm very happy to have as legendary. I just think of him as he's a red killer. He's very straightforward in what he does. He's great. He has a lovely leadership where all allies have a 30% chance to gain turn meter if buffed. I think right there, that happens to go very well with Poison Ivy's passive. If Poison Ivy spreads tons of buff to people, Cyborg then comes around behind and gives them turn meter. Broccoli, he's a staple in everything I do. A little bit of shielding, the taunting, the mends. I love the people that I have legendary. My Batman just recently got a buff up to 5 stars. My Huntress, I've been told I really need to push her. So I'm doing that. My Chummock, Arcus Chummock, got recently high, and I think a sale or something like that. I'm kind of ignoring Miss Frost for now. She's Killer Frost. She's high up there and high powered, but I don't really use her a lot. Katana's been coming up for me lately. Robin is the Alliance mission, and fortunately my Robin happens to be very good. I lucked out on that. Mirror Master is a bit of a surprise for me. Even at this low level, I find he could have the great potential to be an ass kicker. He seems to hit really hard, even at the low levels. So, let us take a look at Dr. Poison, or Madame Mask from Marvel. I'm gonna bump her up a little bit tomorrow, since I just bumped up somebody for the daily. I think she could be very good. She's strong. I think if you sleep on Dr. Poison over here, I mean, she's so obscenely just over-the-top name over there. Very obvious, but if you sleep on her, I think you will regret it. Special damage to an enemy. If a bleed is on the target, 2 bleeds applied to random enemies. So good for bleeders. She is a bleed feeder. Just as long as somebody has 1 stack of bleed, just target them and she does random splash, which is great. Anti-Venom, it heals the team based on bleeds on the enemy team, so you can bring her as a secondary support. So let's say you did Chemo, Siren, Zatanna, and her. You could have her never use the anti-venom unless you really needed it. And if everybody is doing their job, the anti-venom just gets that much more punch to it. So, she's just a strong character if she has a bleed team. Unlike Siren, who can kind of stand on her own and just do what she needs to do regardless of bleeds. I don't think of Dr. Poison that way. But if she has friends, if she's part of a Care Bear squad, I think she's very, very good. I'm just kind of upgrading what she's got over here for tomorrow's Spec Ops, basically. Passive ability, 40% chance for enemies to take 1% max health as damage per bleed on the enemy team at the beginning of Dr. Poison's turn. So, right away you can get her to 43, and after 2 clicks you'll have her at 40. So 3 clicks, she's almost got a 50% chance for that. If you pair that up with Katana, who does percentage based damage, possibly really ridiculous on bleed teams. Taking a look at her legendaries, bleeds on the target have an increased duration by 1. That's really good for people who need to exploit bleeds. I think that's worth a legendary upgrade. Cooldown -1. I don't know what her cooldown is for it. I maybe would not jump on that first. Bleed on the enemy team, 2% max health dealt as damage to the enemy team. Additional light damage to enemy team per bleed on the enemy team. Apply 2 heal immunities. Oh my god! Actually, maybe that is the one people need to upgrade first. Jesus Christ! Can you imagine that in PvP? Can you imagine what you could do, whether she's on your defense or even your offense? 2 heal immunities on 2 out of 4 people getting heal immunities? And I mean, how much do you see Zatanna in PvP? That's really good. Equal chance for bleed on a random enemy. Is that saying that it made splash a bleed there? I think Gas Grenade should be the first legendary, and possibly Virulence. I'm telling you guys, I don't think you should sleep on Dr. Poison. She is a bleeder that isn't blue. She's a fisty bleeder, and I just don't think you should miss out on her. And I wonder how close she is getting to Legendary. So when her event is up, it's possible I might be able to Legendary her when she shows up. So here's the rest of my roster. A Star Sapphire, which apparently makes people jealous. I don't know why. I guess she's good. I don't encounter her much, and I really haven't looked into her, other than the fact that I do know she's pretty cool in the fact that she heals somebody else and she heals herself, so that's 2 for the price of 1. He needs to be dinged, which I think I will do after I do my preliminary dailies. See, I like to reserve people for my legendary dailies. I won't jack somebody all the way up at once. So I'll spread them out a little bit so I keep getting credit. So like my movie Wonder Woman over here was like ready for 3 or 4 level ups when I got her, and I'm smoothing it out like peanut butter over days to get credit. So, oh wow, okay, so my Raven's ready too. So here she is, Wonder Woman, Defender of Justice, call her Gal Gadot, or movie Wonder Woman here. Let's take a look at what she's got. And as you can see, I'm 79 over 40, so she's gonna get bumped up. Fearless Leader, damage to an enemy, copy 1 buff on self to teammates. Massive synergy with Poison Ivy. Can you imagine if Poison Ivy copied somebody's buffs onto her, and then she passively added them to people? Your team would be nuts. And it's just her basic ability. That is powerful. This level 1 is very strong in my opinion. Passive ability. If Wonder Woman is above 30% health, she has a 35% chance to gain taunt until the end of the enemy turn. 2 agility ups, 2 intelligence up at the beginning of the turn. So this passive feeds into her Fearless Leader, because if this procs and she gets her agility, intelligence, and then this copies it, she's a good anchor. I think she's a very good anchor for PvE and PvP. And I think as people level her, we will see her in PvP. When we fight the Ghost version of her, the Spectre version, she's very annoying to deal with. I think you need a Zatanna removing buffs from her, or a Katana stealing buffs from her to really have a counter for her. Lasso of Truth, damage to an enemy, can't miss. Okay, pretty good. It depends on how much damage. Amazonian Strength, light damage to the whole enemy team, increase the duration of all agility up and intelligence up on Wonder Woman by 1. So that means that hopefully her buffs become set it and forget it. That you don't have to constantly refresh on her, because Amazonian Strength will allow them to ride out. I can't see what the legendary is there. Team Leader, so she does have a leadership skill. When Wonder Woman gains taunt from Defender of the Week, other teammates receive death immunity. Wow! How good is that with Poison Ivy? If she gives death immunity to somebody, and then Poison Ivy can copy it back to her, now the entire team is death immune. Fucking crazy. Very, very strong character. I really hope people get to push her. Legendary upgrade. She gains a shield. Chance goes up 50%. Seems strong. If you're using her as a tank, I think that could be strong. Lasso of Truth. Removes 7 buffs from a target. So now she becomes her own counter. If you go into if you legendary Lasso of Truth, you can then essentially negate an enemy Wonder Woman. Really strong. I like it. I can't see Amazonian and Diana Prince, unfortunately. But I'm impressed. And I think she's very, very strong for a character that they're kind of slow pitching you. And that's good, because this game owes us some nice shit, unfortunately. The way they take our money hand over fist, yeah, So here's regular Wonder Woman. She purges debuffs. Gain taunt with debuff immunity. We've all seen that when we've had to fight Ghost Wonder Womans. Heavy damage, purge 4 buffs from the enemy. Reflective bracers, purge 1 buff from enemy that damages Wonder Woman. Team leader, apply 10% affinity power, negative 10% affinity power to all enemies. So I think if you go into Lasso on movie Wonder Woman and have stock, or we'll call her 70s Wonder Woman along with the team, you can counter enemy movie Wonder Womans pretty easily there. Hawk Girl happens to be a recent acquisition for me. I have not been able to do anything with her. I don't know if she's good or not. I think I've heard she's decent, and she's actually part of today's Alliance mission. So, Alliance missions. Let's discuss this here to close out the video. Why I call it divisive is because Alliance missions are pushing people in the opposite direction of what is considered common sense practices. So if you are part of an alliance, or you are around people that discuss the game and you know about the game to some degree, and I would just like to actually give a shout out to the alliance that I am part of. We are League of Injustice. We are looking for very active people who do their dailies. We have a couple of spots. We were top 2 in the very first days. We were top 5 in the first week. We have slipped, but we are still part of the top 10 for now. Shout out to you guys. Really great alliance. Look us up if you're interested in joining and you maintain your points during the week. So that's the very thing that we're talking about here. Points during the week and alliance missions. Why I consider it very divisive is that knowledgeable people in this community will tell you, take a few heroes, especially, you know, do the Skittles, get your rainbow covered, and focus them so that you're not spreading yourself too thin. So, alright, well, okay, Robin's there. And unfortunately, you can't get double the points if you bring somebody else. It would be really nice if I could slap Hawkgirl in here and get double the points. I think that would actually be pretty awesome. I think my Robin has a leadership of if they get hit, they get invisible. Yeah, okay. Or the critical hit. So I'll give him Batman, who likes invisibility. I will give him... I'll do a Katana. And let's get a green in here. We'll bring Chummock. So let's talk about this while I run this on autoplay. So, as I was saying, you know, knowledgeable people in the community tell you to focus on a few people. And there has been some general consensus on who is very good, like some of the green arrows are good for PvP. Zatanna seems to be the core. Everybody Loves Broccoli, which should be the new show on the WB. Coming up next on Everybody Loves Broccoli, watch as Broccoli wages war against the enemies of the Justice League. Broccoli was cut down by a lawnmower. Will he survive? Stay tuned to the next episode of Everybody Loves Broccoli. So, but yeah, I mean, there are certain heroes that everybody, like Hal Jordan with his shields, apparently is extremely necessary for certain PvE missions. Anyway, Alliance missions fly in the face of that. They do the opposite. They start making you spread your resources thin just so you can do an Alliance mission. And the worst for me is PvP. I will be honest, I don't treat PvP in this game the way that I did in Marvel Avengers Alliance. I finished as a consistent Adamantium player, and the thought of not being Adamantium down the stretch was not really a possibility. There were some seasons where it was like, fuck Playdom, you're doing stupid stuff, this came out too quick. I protested it, but I still would kind of gracefully ease into adamantium, and then if I did pushes to upwards of 2,000 or not, that, you know, depended on how the season was going. But even when I was protesting Playdom to the people who would listen to me, it still happened. I don't care about PvP in this game. I tend to do my daily too, and that's it. I don't care about my position on the ladder. I was really depressed when I constantly was 1,000 and above, and then the new reset system dropped me into the 900s. And now, when you have alliance missions of use Douchey McDouchins and Lowballs McLow character for you, I hate them. Like, it did do some good things. Like, it forced me to upgrade my Batman a bit when I had to use Batman for some PvP. And now he's decent. But I've had to use some characters that are kind of weak sauce for me, like Harley Quinn. I abandoned Harley Quinn months ago after she was such a mainstay for me. And she was part of every PvP team I made, but she got replaced. And she's weak now. So what am I supposed to do? Slap her on a team in a weak sense, but don't dedicate resources to her, and just reset my list until I fight real scrubs that I'm obviously going to win against? Or do I devote resources to her and make her somewhat capable just for that alliance mission, just so that my alliance is happy? And I don't mean anything bad against them. I'm just saying, in general, any alliance would probably want you to put some effort into it. And the PvP ones bug me. These heroic ones, they're more time consuming, but at least we still have autoplay. So I could just leave this on autoplay and sit and talk to you guys. That I don't mind nearly as much. And some people have complaints about when you have to use people for the challenge missions or the upgrade ones. They don't bother me that much either. It's just the PvP. But it is kind of making you spread your resources thin, which is contrary to the prevailing advice. I mean, if you put your hand on a stove and it's hot, the general consensus is take your hand off, stupid. Do you want bacon hands? But now the game is like, you know what? Leave your hand on there a little longer. Good stuff will happen. Your mom and dad will get you a car if you burn your hand. And I don't like that. And it's splitting the community up, and it's hurting people. And I've seen this happen before in World of Warcraft areas, like when Vanilla rolled into TBC, raids went from 40-man to 20-man and lower raids, and bigger guilds got crushed because they couldn't take everybody anymore. And then it was, do we do an A team and a B team? Do we do two good teams? Who's in whose group? Do we do different times? Do we do simultaneous? Uh-oh, we're a couple guys short. Do we borrow from the other team? Now they can't. It was awful. And now in Legion, Mythic guilds are getting crushed because it's very, very hard to maintain 20 people every single day that you raid. And with there being no cap in ability power, artifact power, excuse me, people feel like they have to keep playing every moment of every day and constantly gaining AP to make their mythic rating easier. And it's burning people out. So I think alliance missions are causing that kind of disparity. I mean, I bet a lot of alliances are fighting amongst themselves going, oh, well, so-and-so didn't pull their weight over here, so let's kick him. And he's like, guys, I'm sorry, I had finals, or I don't have those characters for PvP, you know? It's harsh. Alliance life, I think, is just harsh right now if you are a lower level player. If you are the equivalent of a Marvel Avengers Alliance Spartan, and you've got a lot of characters and they're all reasonably well geared, you're probably going to be able to carry an alliance. But if you're a mid to low player or a free-to-play player who never spends money, I think you're going to find alliance mission life tough. And that's sad, because alliances, guilds, clans, they should be about camaraderie and helping each other and not infighting. And I think right now the state of alliances is unfortunately promoting some squabbling. Unless everybody is really on the same page, like you get a giant group of casuals or a giant group of aggressive, we want to be top 5 pushers. If you're mixed, if you're a melting pot, if you're an Ellis Island, I think it's gonna be tough, and I feel bad for the leaders of you know, mixed alliances and everything like that. A casual leader or a super hardcore leader with super hardcore people is gonna have it easier, but I think your average Joe alliance, it's gonna be tough. I'm not saying anybody's like yelling names at each other, being like, kick this fucking casual out, or he only got 15 points, or he only got 30 this week instead of 50. I'm not saying that's happening. I'm just saying I feel bad for leadership of these alliances. I think you've got some very tough decisions ahead, and I've seen it in my own. And we're trying to find our balance and our sweet spot. And I've told them straight up, like, I'm not that thrilled about the PvP ones. I will, you know, gladly do ones that aren't PvP. As you can see here, I'm doing my Robin ones. My Robin's pretty high powered. So that's it, guys. That's my talk on Alliance missions. That's my talk on movie Wonder Woman and Dr. Poison. I really think people should actively pursue to get both of these heroes aggressively and push them into Legendary if they can. I really, really think Dr. Poison's going to be a big sleeper hit. And yeah, I think you'd regret missing her. Even Gal Gadot movie Wonder Woman over here, I think people should definitely pursue her aggressively too. But don't freak out if you can't do the first set, because we do seem to be getting another set within a week. So good luck, everybody. Let me know what you think about the video, my roster. What's your opinion on Dr. Poison and movie Wonder Woman? Do you agree that perhaps Poison Ivy is the single greatest mental hero in this game? Let me know what you think. Peace out, everybody.